2022 VJBL Boys Under 16 VC Grand Final between Hawthorn and Frankston. I will first introduce the coaches from Hawthorn, Dion Jewell and Luke Lehman. And from the team, we've got number 11, Jesse Jewell, number 26, Zane Windsor, number 31, Ryder Cheeseman, number 49, Harrison Bochan, number 60, Jack Bryan, number 65, Edward Bramall, number 67, Lewis Emmett, number 69, John Hargrove, number 75, Xavier Atong, and number 79, Charlie Sammartino. And from Frankston, I'd like to introduce their coaches, Daniel Spangler and Dan Chris. And from the team, we have number 1, Max Mini, number 3, Tulu Sama Wikarama, number 9, Jack Enderalo, number 25, Lewis Hodder, number 26, Owen Dow, number 34, Cody Jarman, number 45, Matilda Davisma, number 51, Nicholas Beatty, number 57, Jacob Atkin, and number 73, Caleb Storen. I would like to congratulate both teams for making it to the grand final. It's taken a lot of hard work, commitment, and effort. And I'd like to wish both teams the best of luck. Could we also just please note at the conclusion of the game, if we can just please head into the room for the presentations. Once again, good luck to both teams and congratulations for making it this far.
Well, good evening. Hello. Welcome back to the VJBL Grand Finals here at the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne. It is the culmination of a full season. A full season, it feels good to say it, after 2 years of disruptions. And in the under-16 boys VC Championship Grand Final, we have two teams who have arrived after a long season for Hawthorn Magic, an 8-1 season, finishing top of the ladder and a clean run through the finals, including a qualifying win over their opposition today. 71-37 was the result on that occasion. The Hawthorn Magic, well, they've looked the goods. And it's just an occasion now of arriving and completing what they've been able to do so many times throughout the season. And for the Frankston Blues, well, they're looking to go one better than the under-16 girls who we just saw on this court prior to this one. Frankston finished fourth on the ladder, a 6-3 record. They won the prelim final last week, 62-59 over Knox. On that occasion, Max Meany had 21 points. Lewis Hodder also scoring well with 14 points. And so those are the two that will have to step up big for Frankston if they're going to make any sort of run against this Hawthorn side, who have been exceptional from go to woe throughout this season. And we see a foul called early on. And free throws to come. The foul called on Frankston, who pick up their first team foul. And the second of two free throws is made. So Hawthorn Magic first to make a dent on the scoreboard this evening. Frankston looking to find a score of their own. Beautiful turn by Owen Dow, unable to come up with a score. Ball falls out of court and Hawthorn will return possession. Ryder Cheeseman will do the ball handling duties up the floor. A good ball handler hands it off to Jesse Jewell. Goes back on his right hand, gets inside of the paint, and just before that third step comes down, tosses it up in hope, really. And at the other end, Frankston should find a score. It was pretty well defended, but there it is. Lewis Hodder, the first to land a blow for Frankston. And they lead the game 2-1. Hawthorn now. Kicks it out, a perimeter option, goes begging, and now a chance to score for Edward Bramall. Foul called under the basket. Frankston will have possession. Ball is inbounded. Tight defense up the floor by Magic. Intensity lifting as the seconds tick along here in the under-16 boys VC Grand Final. Tyson Whelan in commentary here. Pulls up for the jumper, and it's good for Lewis Hodder. Hodder is hot. Has all 5 points for Frankston so far. And they lead the way a couple of minutes into this first quarter. Hawthorn now looking to respond. Of course, as I mentioned, 71-37 was the score last time these two met, and it wasn't the side that's leading now who ran away with it. Hawthorn, an 8-1 record across the season, have only flexed their muscles further when it came to finals time. Here's Hodder. On that right hand, makes his way inside the paint and kicks it out. Three-point basket goes up, but nothing doing. Rebound comes down in favour of Frankston. A three-point opportunity. What about this one? Tapped around, but nothing doing. Beautiful finish there from Ryder Cheeseman. Adds that two-point basket to his earlier free throw and has all the score. Just two players to score so far in this 3-5 game. Pressure up the floor, and Hodder almost lost possession of it. But a foul came from Hawthorn's Jesse Jewell, which bailed out the dribbler. Well, there was space in the paint, and it was spotted by Max Meany. But when the pass came, the receiver wasn't paying attention. Jacob Atkin will inbound now from the baseline. 5 minutes to play before the first real break. Max Meany with ball in hand, gives it to Hodder. Fancies his chances from 3. Why wouldn't he? He's already drilled one in the early stage of this one. Up the floor now. Magic looking to score, and they do exactly that. Jesse Jewell it was to register 2 points, and so we're all tied up here at 5 apiece. Frankston looking a little bit more under pressure as this Hawthorn defensive unit kicks into gear. Subs taken here for Frankston. Caleb Storen alongside Owen Dow on the floor. So Beatty makes no mistake of the free throw. 7-5 is the game as it stands. Looking to score was Cheeseman. He's inside with the possession. We see a jump ball called though, and Frankston will have a chance to continue what's been a pretty good start. They led it by 2 points, 7-5. Expectations, well, no one would have set them particularly high coming into this one. Hawthorn have been dominant throughout the season. Here's Hodder. He's been good. Had Beatty behind him. It goes it alone, and why wouldn't he? He has been very good. We're going to see Max Meany return to the floor here. Andaloro, the one to watch some time from the Pine. So Frankston full court press now. Might need some help here. Eventually sliding past Hodder was Jesse Jewell. He hands it off. Here is Jewell from 3. Looks all right. Unable to convert. And so Frankston quickly down the floor. Here's Beatty. Applies some contact, and then with the space it was afforded, finished for 2, and then at the other end, the pass that came streaming down was intercepted and knocked out of court. Sammartino checks into the game alongside Hargrove, and Hodder is well appreciated by his spectators that have come along to watch this one. Crowd thinning out ever so slightly since that under 16 girls game, which of course went to overtime. What a feat of basketball that was. Caleb Storen came up with the ball, and it's passed around a few hands, in the hands of Beatty now. Turning back to the basket. Liked what he saw when he turned, but it was well defended, and so Hawthorn, well, I'll tell you what, they might want to score here, or score soon, because Frankston looked pretty good, at least so far. Here's a three-point opportunity, and it came for Charlie Sammartino, but again, Hawthorn just not seeing these rings as wide as they'd like to here at the State Basketball Centre. Beatty loses it off his foot only momentarily, though, in the hands of Storen now. Well defended by Sammartino, and we see another jump ball called. Bodies fly. Respectfully enough. Subs taken for Frankston. And Jacob Atkin returns to the floor. A nice contribution made by Owen Dow, who watches on from the sideline now. 3 fouls for Hawthorn, just the 1 team foul for Frankston at this stage. Beatty whistled for his second personal. Might be of concern as the time ticks along in this one. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Another three-point opportunity. They're not afraid, it'd be fair to say, Hawthorn, but so far not proving particularly fruitful. At the other end, Caleb Storen tries for a long two, and both sides not making the most of their opportunities. Ryder Cheeseman hands it off, and forcing his way inside was Sammartino, who comes up with a foul, and he'll see a couple of free throws at the charity stripe. Zane Windsor preparing to come on here for the Magic. And at the other end, Lewis Hodder, who had 7 points in just a handful of minutes, checks back into the game. Xavier Artong heads to the bench for Hawthorn. And so contact made, the basket will drop. And so Louis Emmett, it is, he'll have a couple of points added to his column and a free throw to draw this one closer. And so Frankston's scoring output slowed down briefly. And he makes good on the singular free throw as Lewis Emmett gets himself to 3 points with that little play there. And less than 2 minutes to play before quarter time. Beatty gets past his defender easily. And what a tough finish over 4 hands that were presenting. And Frankston might just go into quarter time with a lead. Expectations thrown out the window here. Cheeseman hands it off. What can Hawthorn come up with on this possession? A beautiful step through and finish. Hodder making his way around the paint. Was well defended again by this Hawthorn side who looked locked in defensively. Oh, wonderful pass. Not as so good on the finish. Ryder Cheeseman delivering more dishes than a waiter at the moment. So time will begin to expire in this one. And how about this from Hodder? But in the process of trying to split the defenders, he double dribbles, and we're going to see a timeout taken here by the Hawthorn Magic. A good, tight, intense first quarter of basketball in this under-16 boys grand final, VC Championship Division. Scoring leaders so far: Lewis Hodder with 7 points for Frankston, Nicholas Beatty with 6 of his own, and for Hawthorn Magic, the spread of scorers: Jesse Jewell with 2, Cheeseman, Beauchamp, Lewis Emmett, 3, 2, 3 respectively. No one in particular foul trouble. Nicholas Beatty with a couple. Just to reiterate, Hawthorn's fantastic finals run. 81-46. A huge win. 35-point win over Dandenong last week in the preliminary final. 24 points from Harrison Beauchamp, who's just starting to get his eye in now with a couple of points as a foul. Emmett had 14 points. I'm starting to see his ability as well. And in that qualifying final where Frankston took on Hawthorn, it was a very one-sided affair. 71-37 was that result. But for Frankston, they've done what they needed to do to get in the grand final with that 3-point nail-biting win over Knox last weekend. What can they make of this opportunity? Cheeseman sees it in from 3. Beautiful technique and an even better finish as it spirals through the netting. And so Frankston now will want to respond if they want to have any sort of lead heading into quarter time. Hodder, little step back motion, pull up J, leads to a whole lot of not much. At the other end, Cheeseman's feeling confident. The defenders matched him in the momentum as he run down the court. And so Hodder now, can they come up with something with 6 left on the game clock? Hand it off to Beatty for a long 3. was out with the cars in the car park when he tossed it up, and the desperation effort from Hodder will matter little because the siren sounds, and you couldn't ask for a more exciting first quarter as scores are level, 13 apiece. Hawthorn, you feel, just starting to get their comfortability in this game. But for now, Frankston doing a good job, and they're giving the Blues fans something to cheer about after a pretty tough loss in that under-16 girls match that we saw prior to this one on court 4 here at State Basketball Centre in Melbourne's East.
Hey, yo!
Yo, what up, Zach?
What you got going on up there?
Just another goat deserves goat treatment.
We'll see how he do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Come on.
Congrats, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
PlayStation.
You know that old saying that everyone will get their 15 minutes of fame? Yeah, not us. You see, greatness is what we're after. You don't need handles like Trey or a 3 like Cat. You see, greatness is in all of us. All you gotta do.
You gonna keep talking to yourself, or you gonna check up?
Right at Cheeseman.
PlayStation.
Otherwise, no one with more than 3. Here is Hodder. Hands it off to Beattie. Back to Hodder now. Puts it to the floor. Defense again from Hawthorn. Just locking down in their positions. Ruthless they are. And able to exploit at the other end. An open look from the perimeter. Right at the top of the 3 was Jesse Jewell, who could barely snatch a sniff of the iron on that 3-point attempt. Beattie will inbound, but not without pressure. Bramall defending all the way up the floor alongside Zane Windsor now, who locks in on defense against Beattie. Beattie all the way to the cup, and how about the defensive effort from Emmett, who snaps it. And left to pick up the pieces with 11 seconds on the shot clock now with Frankston. And Oloro kicks it around to Hodder. 6 now on the shot clock. He'll find his way inside the paint. But again, this defensive unit not making it easy for any Frankston player right now. And Hawthorn will eventually come up with possession. Hargrove to inbound. Jewell puts it through his legs, makes light work of Hodder. Left in his wake, and now an elbow jumper. Looked all right. Bramall unable to score then, and he's yet to score for the game. Here's Max Meany at the other end. Likes his chances from 3, and Hawthorn are out here. Has an option around to the right in Bramall, but goes it alone. It was Windsor. Good offensive rebound now in the hands of Bramall. A lovely dump pass and an even better finish. Lewis Emmett has 5 points now, and Hawthorn, as perhaps was the expectation leading into this game, hit the front. Well defended, another turnover when the pass came to Jacob Atkin. It was Hawthorn hands that arrived, and a timeout will surely be requested here if a basket is made. And they try on their 3rd attempt now. A foul's called, and it'll be free throws to come. And so you just get a sense now in the last few minutes of what Hawthorn are capable of when they lock in, and Frankston will need a moment to talk about it and regroup, because despite leading for most of that first quarter, it was only a matter of time before the Magic picked up to another gear, and now they'll have free throws to push it out to a 4-point margin.
Congrats, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
PlayStation.
So Hargrove over the line here for a couple of free throws. 2 points is the margin as it stands. Stay that way after the first free throw. Blues need to lock in here. Hargrove with the second. Took a dunny roll to do it, but falls in as Harrison Beauchamp checks into the game, and it is that man, Hargrove, who'll see some time from the sideline. Subs made for Frankston too. Matita Gambiza on the floor, and Beattie has made a really healthy contribution, and he'll watch on from the sidelines, I imagine only briefly. Here is Gambiza, passed a couple of times in the backcourt. Eventually it's made good as it gets over. Max Meany, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Gambiza left a little bit of room and almost drilled it from the top of the three-point line. Nothing doing though, so Hawthorn a chance to extend it beyond a single possession. Oh, it's a beautiful three from Harrison Beauchamp. And you're starting to see why he has led the scoring in games gone by in this final series for the Hawthorn Magic. So out to 6 points now. Hodder looking to return fire. Took a bite of the window. And now quickly down the floor through Hawthorn. The pass left behind, if only briefly. And they score another 2 points through the hands of Jack Bryan. 8 points the margin now. 5 minutes left before halftime. Here's Hodder. Gives it to Meany. Needs to drill. Does drill it. Does Max Meany. If you're going to make an entry onto the score sheet, that's one way to do it. Back to a 5-point game here. Subs preparing to be made in the form of Jack Anzaloro for Frankston. Hawthorn also will sub on Ryder Cheeseman, who was the one guy who, when Frankston were really flexing their muscles, was keeping Hawthorn well and truly in this one. A beautiful pass and an even better finish for Jesse Jewell, who will have the 2 points allocated to him on the score sheet and a chance to make it a 3-point play. Here's the sub as Andaloro checks in. Jacob Aitken subbed out of the game, and Jewell, that's 4 points already. Certainly one of the smaller players on the court, but proving his worth out there at the moment. Unable to finish the free throw, but how about coming up with the offensive rebound? Potentially make it a 4-point play. Why not? The pass, though, left a little bit to be desired, although Hawthorn will maintain possession as subs are made finally. And Ryder Cheeseman checks into the game as Jesse Jewell, who's been a pivotal piece for Hawthorn, turning this into a 7-point game. Here's Bramall, loses his handle, and Hodder transition down the floor, and his defender was bigger than him, but he almost polished off a couple of points, but in the end was asking too much of him. So it stays a 7-point margin here. Finds an option in the corner. Hawthorn looking to extend it to a 10-point game. Contact made, nothing whistled. Referees let that one go. Coming up with it is Gambiza. He's double teamed though. This defensive pressure from Hawthorn is immense. And an even better 3-point play than the last we saw. This Hawthorn side is quite remarkable when they're on fire. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Beattie in for Hodder. Beauchamp at the line, looking to finish the 3-point play. Unable to do so. And so he stays with 7 points. And with that, he's leading the scoring for Hawthorn. Here's Beattie. Pass came and lands in the hands of Gambiza, whose contributions so far have been 2 3-point attempts. That one better than the first. Nothing but nylon. And it's these 3-point shots that are keeping Frankston in touching distance. And at the other end, it was Hawthorn, through the hands of Bramall, who now comes up with a steal, looking to get an assist, and in the end kicked out. Here's Brian, looking to get it to Emmett, who's fouled. And Lewis Emmett will have a chance to add to his 6 points as both teams prepare subs. Xavier Artong will sub the shooter out. And Gambiza, who drilled that triple, is dragged. So the second of 2 is good. And the margin stands at 7 points. And so Emmett is subbed out of the game as Artong returns to the floor for Hawthorn. And he will match up on Beattie. This zone defense working overtime. Meany's at the top of the 3-point line. If he can find his way there, the ball does exactly that. But he's just been a little overzealous, it'd be fair to say, in reaching down for the ball. Thrown his body onto Brian, it was. And it'll be Brian who'll head to the free throw line for a couple of extras. So Harrison Beauchamp and Artong file in to join the Frankston rebounders, but not required on that occasion as Jack Bryan makes good on the second free throw. 8 points is the margin. Hawthorn leading it. A big 3 from Caleb Storen. Again, we see these Frankston players make their way onto the score sheet with a triple. It's how they're staying in it, and if nothing else, it's fair to say they've clearly been practicing their 3-point shooting, and it's one way with this Hawthorn team playing this zone defense to stretch their zone as much as possible is by shooting good from the 3-point line. The pass came, and it was a wonderful finish as the seconds wound down on the shot clock. And again, Ryder Cheeseman making his presence known out there. Beattie turning to the cup. Had a good angle from home, looked straight enough, but left a little short. 2 minutes and change left before halftime. Hurriedly down the floor and lost possession with Hawthorn. And so Storen makes contact, creates some room for himself, and then we see a foul called as Beattie fought for the rebound. So Windsor and Sammartino check into the game for Hawthorn. Bramall and Bryan head to the bench. Here's Meany with the ball. Doesn't need a whole lot of time, room, or space to throw one up. Unfruitful. And at the other end, also with room and space. And a 3-point basket to push it beyond single figures again. And then not only does he polish off that 3-point basket, does Harrison Beauchamp comes down with the rebound. Hands it off. This time it's Windsor for 3, looking to double down on the good efforts of Beauchamp, who has 10 points and is just proving his value. As Max Meany looking to return fire, gets his own rebound, turns to the basket, should have finished but couldn't. And then Storen will send his opponent to the free throw line. So Beauchamp has been everywhere, defensively and offensively. Heads to the stripe. $12 points it is now. Beauchamp polishes off the 2 free throws as subs prepare to come on for Frankston. Owen Dow it is. As Jacob Atkin returns to the bench. They're going to have to inbound here, Frankston. Time will expire, surely, but the referee lets them go. Storen, a wonderful pass, and a foul is drawn by Andaloro. Xavier Artong whistled for his first personal. Andaloro goes 1 of 2. They fight for the rebound, and Artong, he had it initially, but when fell to the pine, the ball came unstuck. Max Meany hands it off to Hodder. On that right hand, finds Meany. 3-point basket, catches nothing but clean air, and the travel is committed by Owen Dow. So stays beyond double digits here for Hawthorn. It was 13 each at quarter time. Frankston able to just put on the 10 points. 21 points for Hawthorn in this second quarter. Jewell with his back to the basket. Tosses it up in desperation and comes down with 2 points. Something to smile about as he plays defense on Hodder down the floor. Locked in is this defensive unit. Hodder looking to get past Jewell. Loses his handle, but it was largely thanks to a foul, says the referee. So third team foul. Jesse Jewell collects his second personal. Baseline ball here for Frankston with 2.8 seconds left. They're going to have to toss it up in desperation. Frankston hoped for a foul to be called, but contact was insufficient. And so at the main break, 36-23, Hawthorn, as one could have expected, leading the way. And Frankston, who went down some 71-37 last time these two teams met, well, they're holding on, at least so far. Can they turn things around even further in this third period? We saw how much the game changed in that first game of the evening when Nana Waddingu led it by some 17 points at quarter time. Frankston almost run over the top of them. If not for overtime, it would have been Frankston girls who had the VC championship. And so they've inspired, or they surely will inspire this Frankston team to make a run in this second half. Not out of touch yet. And for Hawthorn, well, it's been a wonderful performance from Beauchamp, the usual suspects. Ryder Cheeseman as well. Lewis Emmett has 6 points, as does Jesse Jewell. And for Frankston, well, Hodder had 7 in the first quarter. Beatty has 6 to his name. And 3 points shared amongst Max Meany. Atita Gambizu drilled one. A beautiful 3-point basket, as well as Caleb Storen. But they're going to need more than that, is Frankston. the game clock resets to 8 minutes as the VJBL standard demands, and ball is inbound to Jesse Jewell. 6 points, as I mentioned, in that first half. Handed off to Beauchamp. Mid-range jumper looks all right, and rattles at home. Does Beauchamp to continue his ability that we come to expect with 14 points, leads all scorers. Does Harrison Beauchamp. He'll go a long way in basketball, you feel. Here's Hodder. Speaking of going a long way, he went a long way away from the basket, only to turn around and drop it in for 2 points. And so gets his first score since quarter time when he had 7 in the first quarter. Here's Artong for 3. Drills it to Xavier Artong. And not the only one to make their first score from the perimeter. Nick Beattie spinning around, trying to find a laneway to the basket. In the end, tosses it over defenders as Artong fights desperately for the rebound. But those 3 bodies from Frankston caused enough pressure to make it difficult. But eventually, Hawthorn will have an inbound possession. The subs are taking. Gambiza subs on for Andaloro from a Frankston perspective. Hawthorn comfortable with the 5 players that have seen out this first minute. Beauchamp hands it off and continuing this scoring from the 3-point line. Is that man Zane Windsor. Stop, prop, and forget the rest. Streaming in for the rebound was Meany, but Beauchamp was well positioned. As we see subs taken here. Cheeseman alongside John Hargrove on the floor. And it's Jewell and Beauchamp subbed out of the game. Like-for-like replacements, more or less, in their respective positions. Sammartino hands it around. An extra pass ends up in the hands of Artong. Frankston forced the ball out of court and take a sub in the process. Owen Dow checks in for Hodder. Hawthorn inbound, 19 points is the margin. Here's Cheeseman. A wonderful pass over the 5 defenders from a Frankston perspective. Left a 3-point option available. In the end, it's Artong. Tries for 3 and a big rebound comes down for Owen Dow. And he's fouled. And Charlie Sammartino picks up his first personal foul. The first foul recorded in this second half. Frankston need to score. Nick Beattie. Max Meany. And another foul. Over defending. And it's largely been Dowell who's been the target. Ball comes inbound, but well defended by John Hargrove. And then as Zane Windsor tried to take the ball up the court, a foul was committed. So 19 points is the margin. Stagnant, at least at the moment. Hargrove inbounds, and we have the ball in Ryder Cheeseman's hand. Just left room again. And Hawthorn only need to make good on a few of those 3-point attempts. And this one will be iced. Samara Wickmer on the floor here for Frankston, seeing his first minutes. Beattie back to his defender, looking inwards. Atkin presented. Here is Samara Wickmer. And a glorious finish from Jacob Atkin for 2 points at the end of Hawthorn's incredible offensive efforts. Ends up in the hands of Windsor. He puts it to the floor. 3 defenders close out. A lot of contact made from my view, but nothing spotted by the referees. So Frankston rejoice in that defensive effort as we see a sub made. Lewis Emmett will check in, as does Jack Andaloro. And so it's Jacob Atkin and Sammartino, who sub out for their two respective sides. 5 minutes and change here to go in the third quarter. Does a good job to keep it in their forward half. But the pass from Hargroves was intercepted. And then when the dribble pass came out, the only man standing was Xavier Artong. And then the pass in from Max Meany. Asked a little bit too much of Samara Wickmara. And so Windsor will inbound here. Speaking of passes, asking a little bit too much. There might be a bit of overestimation of the vertical leap of some of these players when the pass came to Zane Windsor. And a little bit too much height off on it, and so subs are taken. Hodder back on the floor alongside Caleb Storen, whose first scoring effort came in the way of a big three-point bomb. Max Meany also subs out of the game. He has 3 points. Every possession now is crucial for Frankston if they want to stay in this one. Andaloro, a really wonderful pass to Owen Dow, who's unable to capitalise when he turns to the hoop. Windsor looking to bury one, unable to do it. And again, underneath the basket, Hawthorn, they'll be wanting to finish off those ones. Bramall and Jewell will check into the game for Artong and Windsor. Storen will inbound here for the Blues. But Jewell comes up with it when the pass came knocking. It was a Hawthorn hand that met it. But now the overlap is on here for Frankston. Storen slows things down but then blows by the defender. Well, attempts to at the very least. Samara Wickmara was there but instead goes to Hodder. Good a good screening effort, I should say, by Dow. Samara Wickmara gets his defender in the air. Tries the mid-range runner, unable to finish. Ball falls out of court, 3 seconds left on the shot clock. What can they make of with these 3 seconds? Samara Wickmara in the corner. Hodder to his left. Dow creates some room, but the pass gave not a whole lot to work with. And how about this transition from Hawthorn? The passing's been good, but the finishing around the rim has left plenty to be desired from Cheeseman on that occasion. Storen tries for 3 and then commits a pretty heavy foul, it'd be fair to say, as he ran in for the rebound. That's his third personal. Subs taken for Hawthorn. Beauchamp, he might just be a champion come the end of tonight. 14 points to his name, returns to the floor as Max Meany prepares to step on the floor for the Blues when the next whistle arrives. Here's Hargrove. Kicks it across, 3-point. Looks like a hand might have met it. And Storen comes down with it for Frankston. Three-point attempt, unable to fall for Frankston. Stays at a 19-point game as it has been for much of this third quarter. Neither team able to really capitalise. A wonderful pass came from Bramall, and a travelling violation is the end result as we see subs taken again from Frankston, rotating through their bench. Atkin and Meany on the floor here. Samara Wickmara and Owen Dow it is who head to the bench. Hodder dribbling it backwards down the floor. Atkin met him for the screen. Here he is, Hodder. Can he find a score? Jewell defending so well. Here's Storen. Goes back on that right hand. And eventually it falls down in the hands of Frankston. Jacob Atkin finishes for 2. Foul committed here by Hodder, I imagine. Basket waved away by the referee. Subs taken for Frankston. Cody Jarman on the floor for Hodder. He has 2 personals. So Hargrove will inbound, presenting his duel. Beauchamp has the ball in hands now. What does Beauchamp decide to do with it? Emmett sets the pick and then rolls. Turning back baseline way. And now it's in the hands of Jewel. 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. A beautiful pass. A beautiful finish. Jarman gets it in the hands of Meany. Rebound comes down for Emmett. Here's Beauchamp wearing that number 49. As an option at the top of the three-point line, elects to go towards the free throw line. Traveling in the process was Bramall. Jewel pulled off the floor for Jack Bryan. 1.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Frankston with possession. Presenting at the top is Meany. He receives the ball, but only for a moment as Cody Jarman has it now. Back to Meany. He had a hand in his face, but went for the three-point shot. Not a whole lot to come from that possession. But when you're trailing by 19 points, sometimes an early three-point shot is your best option. Flicked around from Emmett, and in the corner, fighting his way inside, was Bryan. And it will be Jack Bryan to inbound here for the Magic. Owen Dow to sub into the game here for Jack Andaloro. Jack Bryan will inbound. Directly in front of him is Bramall. And that's exactly where it ends up. Fouled was Emmett. And a chance to get his way towards double figures if he can drill these free throws. Owen Dow immediately on the floor and fouls with his second personal. Both teams teetering towards the bonus. Frankston's committed 4 team fouls now. A couple of free throws to come here for Hawthorn. Emmett will surely make his way towards double figures if that first free throw is anything to go by. Well, not on that occasion. The commentator's curse is alive. Meany couldn't see the ball coming, but eventually once it presented in front of him, it was enough to get it to Jarman. Less than a minute to play here. Storen receives it, but he's defended well by Bryan. The pass came into Meany, who was left free for only a moment. The defensive effort by Bramall was pretty impressive, but as is impressive was Meany. And Dowell, whose 2 big bodies are making something for Frankston to be inspired by. And it was Dowell who got it down to Storen. And Frankston have something to smile about heading into three-quarter time. The pass came inwards. It was a nice pass from Atkin. Turning to the basket, and how about that hooky from Owen Dowell. It's his first score with that one. We'll need a few more to get Frankston within any sort of touching distance, and I'll be pleased to hear the siren sound. No more scores to come from the Magic. 16 points, 33-49. Here's the scoreline at three-quarter time. Frankston have exceeded their score. They're edging closer to exceeding their score in totality in that qualifying final when they put up just 37 points to Hawthorn's 71. Doing a good job of Frankston, but for Hawthorn, and where the expectations have been set so high by this team of true superstars who have a big future ahead of them, we're pleased with their output so far. 49-33 it is at three-quarter time. 1 quarter left to decide the fate of this one. Hawthorn surely with one hand on the VJBL VC Cup for under-16 boys in season 2022 after 2 heavily interrupted seasons. These boys back out on court doing what they enjoy most, and the crowd has showed up here on the broadcast side especially to support these 2 sides along the way. So it'll be Beauchamp who backs his way up for the to guard the inbound. Styron presents in the backcourt and receives it from the inbound, and we have 8 minutes left to play. Puts it through his legs and hands it off eventually to Jarman. This defensive pressure is to be admired by Hawthorn. Bramall allows the defender, his offensive opponent, I should say, and Jacob Atkin to get by him. But the shot left a little bit to be desired, and then the foul was committed. Cheeseman initiates this offense. His offensive plays have been impressive. It's Bramall. As it ends up in his hands, it's Emmett. Back to Bramall now. Will back his way in. Time will surely expire on the shot clock, and does exactly that. And what's been a night with not a whole lot to cheer for Frankston so far. That defensive effort is something that's well appreciated by the Blues fans, as we see Cody Jarman check out of the game. And Beattie, the man to replace him, he has ball in hand, and that effort from Cheeseman to get back on defense, that just typifies what this Magic side is all about. Max Meaney is fouled, and the one to committed is Harrison Beauchamp, collects his second personal. And so a turnover is the last thing that Frankston would need, but Emmett was the man to receive it when the ball came in. Bramall tried for three, ends up in Hawthorn hands as the offensive rebounds continue to flow. And Cheeseman, eventually when he came up with it, was able to draw a foul and will head to the line to add to his 8 points, potentially becoming the second player to reach double figures. We see a sub taken, Xavier Artong back on the floor for Hawthorn. Jack Bryan heads to the bench for Frankston. Owen Dow watching on from the sidelines now. At the line for two, Cheeseman. Chance to get himself into double figures, as I mentioned. Yeah, his impact was profound in that first quarter where Frankston led the way for much of it. 13-5 it was at one stage when Frankston was leading the way. That's where Frankston ended up at the end of the first quarter. But the one man who kept Hawthorn's score ticking along was Ryder Cheeseman. And Beattie draws a foul. Bramall whistled for the foul on that occasion. Hodder checks in for Styron, who has 3 points, 3 fouls as well. Beattie at the line, rattles the first one out. 6.5 minutes left before Hawthorn can rejoice, or Frankston can pull off a miracle perhaps. Second of 2 free throws is good. Here's Cheeseman. On that right hand goes right side. Presenting to his left was Beauchamp. He's still there and available if it's wanted, but how about that beautiful mid-range jumper from Bramall. Speaking of nice mid-range jumpers, and Oloro at the other end. Drills one. Cheeseman. Backing his way in is Beauchamp. Finds Emmett. Foul called under the basket. Whether it's on Max Meaney or indeed it is Hawthorn who will lose possession. It was Beauchamp, I think, rebounding a little bit overzealously on that occasion. Jesse Jewell subs into the game. It's Louis Emmett with his 9 points. Subbed out. Frankston possession. Beatty matched up with Artong. Cheeseman now as his zone defense continues to lock in. 3-point basket from Meany. Unable to find the middle of the rim. Cheeseman has Artong to his left, but goes to the right. 3-point basket goes up, but again, not a whole lot to impress those watching on from the sideline, at least on that occasion. Subs taken. Owen Dow on the floor for Jacob Atkin. So Bramwell with just the 2 points so far, unable to finish that 3-point basket. So Max Meany for Frankston now, looking inside, over defended, not enough to warrant a foul though, and coming around was Hodder to try and clean up the post move, or when the pass came into the post, but fouls in the process. Hodder with 2 personal fouls. Jewell hands off to Cheeseman. Artong presenting around. Has Beauchamp at the top. Goes back to Cheeseman now. And again, a 3-point shooting not exactly connecting for the Magic at the moment. Just wonder if they look inside to Bramwell with his height. If he can get physical in there with Owen Dow, perhaps that might be the avenue of scoring for Hawthorn if that 3-point shooting continues to stay dry. Jesse Jewell defends Hodder well. Speaking of 3-point shooting, picks one of his own as Hodder. And on the rebounding effort from Beatty, steps out of court, and another possession here for Hawthorn. They'll have a chat about it. Timeout taken. 53-36 is the score. Hawthorn Magic, 4.5 minutes to play in this final period. Under 16, VJBL, VC. The word from Bramwell as he sits down for this timeout is finish it right. And so no taking the foot off the pedal here from a Hawthorn perspective. And for Frankston, well, what can they come up with 4.5 minutes to play?
You know that old saying that everyone will get their 15 minutes of fame? Yeah, not us. You see, greatness is what we're after. You don't need handles like Trey or a 3 like Cat. You see, greatness is in all of us. All you gotta do is...
You gonna keep talking to yourself, or you gonna check up?
PlayStation.
On the other side of the timeout, 53-36 is the scoreline. 4.5 minutes left. Hawthorn have been as good as we expected. A minor blip in that first quarter, but have looked the goods ever since then. Pass came into Beauchamp, turning to the basket, and those defenders did enough to come up with a possession. Here's Hodder. Dow sets the screen, perhaps a little bit of knee, but it was nicely done by Hodder. At the other end, Bramwell tries to keep it inboard, and another turnover here. So Frankston, a chance to bring it back within 12 points if they can find a score from long range here. Here's Hodder. Beatty out to his right. Little step back maneuver. How about Meany for 3? Sure. Why not? Max Meany given room, and Frankston proving why they are in the grand final. Less than 4 minutes to play though. Have Hawthorn done enough to withstand this minor comeback? Bramwell misses. Frankston possession again. Andaloro gives it off, and Hodder will do the ball handling duties. Jesse Jewell matches up. If Frankston can get a score here, you just wonder. Oh, and how about the swat from Ryder Cheeseman? He's doing it all out there. Ball meet hand. Nice to meet you, says Ryder Cheeseman. But Frankston despite that highlight play, we'll still have possession with 12 seconds on the shot clock. Meany was there. The pass asked a little bit of Hodder, but he comes down with it. Setting the pick was Andaloro. Does Hodder turn around and shoot? He does. Draws a foul. And if he can drill these, it'll be a 10-point game. Jesse Jewell whistled for his third personal. No mistake of the first. Subs prepare to come on. Gambiza looked like he was going to be deployed for a moment, but sits back down. We saw his ability when he dropped that 3-bomb just moments after coming on the floor. A few of them from a Frankston perspective in this 10-point game could be something to behold. The pass to Xavier Artong required a leaping effort. Here is Bramall. Looked like he almost travelled, but there was contact made by Andaloro. Subs will be made here for Hawthorn. Charlie Sammartino checks in for Jesse Jewell. And Sammartino will inbound. Here's Artong. Has 5 points. Hands it off to Bramall. Here's Cheeseman. Oh, beautiful left-hand finish. And a timeout taken by Frankston. If they had have withheld that offensive play there from Cheeseman, who's been relatively unstoppable, it must be said. You just wonder what could happen in these dying stages of this one. But that 2-point basket surely stems the momentum that Frankston have built in the last couple of minutes. Timeout taken here. 12 points is the margin. 2 minutes 48 remaining in the final quarter. And so it's Hawthorn who have committed the 14 fouls so far. So Frankston, if they can draw fouls, will head to the line. Whether they can drill them when it counts will be the question. But 12 points with just under 3 minutes to play means it's still possible here for Frankston. And for Hawthorn, will they continue this trend that they've had throughout the season? 8-1 was their record across the season. Finished top of the ladder. Have had such a solid run through finals. A 3-ball is good for Andaloro. The Frankston bench willing that one into the basket, and that's exactly where it lands. Artong, though, a dagger from Xavier Artong, and just about seals it in the process. Andaloro, the man that drilled that three, hands it off. Hodder gives it to Beattie, catches mostly window on that occasion. And so Hawthorn will surely just want to run this one out here, but Hodder comes up, or rather Beattie comes up with it. Hodder now with ball in hand. In the corner, double teamed, which means there's a man free. That man was Hodder. Tries to bank it in for three. That might just be an unsportsmanlike. Referees adjudicated there was a defender behind the ball, I gather, although they will consult. Yeah, just a regulation foul called. Right decision, I fancy. And Beauchamp will look to inbound, but not before a timeout is taken here by Hawthorn, who with 1:32, it's all about getting the basics right for this Hawthorn side. They might be not far away from a championship. Well, this is about development for these young men who have a big future ahead of them. Minute and a half left. Both teams in the bonus now. 57-46. Hawthorn will have possession from the sideline and will surely see out this last minute and a half on their terms, as it has been for much of the season. Beauchamp, surely the pick for MVP so far, leads all scorers with 14 points, but it's been a shared effort. Cheeseman, with the ball in hand, has 12 points of his own. He's played a huge role as well and has throughout the final series. Tong drilled a 3 to return fire after Andaloro did just a moment ago from a Frankston perspective. Tong from a similar spot, unable to finish on this one. Underneath is good for Beauchamp, who will tick his way to 16 points. Along with the 3 fouls he had in his column, but he's done well to maintain that, so no trouble there from a Hawthorn perspective. Going late into the evening after that overtime game we had on this court beforehand. Not far off 11 o'clock here in Melbourne. The shot from Beattie had nothing going for it, and we're going to see bonus free throws for Cheeseman here. Beattie fouls up the floor. So Cheeseman knocks in the first. With a chance to push this out to a 15-point game. And it hasn't been all one way. As some might have expected, Frankston have applied the pressure. But Hawthorn able to withstand as the evenings dragged on. Less than a minute, 61-46. A chance for Frankston to draw it ever so slightly closer. Playing for pride now. And how about the 3-ball from Max Meany? Gets his way into double figures. A little confidence builder heading into the next season, no doubt, of VJBL. Shot clock's in play here. Cheeseman puts it through his legs. Presenting at the top was Bramall. In the hands of Sammartino now. Beauchamp steps through, and then as easy as you like, just sticks out that right hand and sticks the ball in the rim, more or less. And so not a whole lot left in this one. Hawthorn Magic will be champions. How about 2 in a row here? It took the backboard to do it, but Max Meany has 14 points. 2 threes in the dying stages of this one. Hawthorn Magic up on their feet. They applaud it out, and Cheeseman will dribble it out. Time will expire. Hawthorn Magic, a mostly unblemished season for this under-16 boys program, and they finish on top, 63-52 by 11 points. The Hawthorn Magic win the VJBL VC under-16 championship here at the State Basketball Centre. The Hawthorn Magic fans rejoice. Perhaps a result we expected, but this 11-point margin, a whole lot closer than the last time they met. 71-37 the win was for Hawthorn on that occasion. So entertainment galore across the VJBL action on your Friday evening, which more or less rounds out this 2022 season. It's been good to have basketball back on your Friday evening. It's a ritual for so many families across Victoria, not just here in Melbourne, but these teams travel across the city and the state to have fun with their mates, and ultimately these two teams met at the pinnacle of this season, and Hawthorn were able to reach the summit. And so they win it 63-52 as the times expire, and will round out their season with a premiership championship and smiles on their faces. Hawthorn win it 63-52. It's been Tyson Whelan in commentary across the evening here on Court 4 at the State Basketball Centre. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed it. And the action continues from a Basketball Victoria's perspective heading into the summer months. So don't turn away. VJBL is well and truly back in a big way. Until the next time I see you, goodbye. Full drop. Beatty gets past his defender easily. And what a tough finish over. What can they make of this opportunity? Cheeseman sees it in from 3. Beautiful technique. Windsor. Good offensive rebound now in the hands of Bramall. A chance to extend it beyond a single possession. Oh, it's a beautiful 3. Left behind, if only briefly. He's hot up. Gives it to Meany. Needs to drill. Does drill it. A beautiful pass and an even better finish for Jesse. And an even better three-point and lands in the hands of Gambiza, whose contributions so far have been 2 on the second free throw. 8 points is the margin. Hawthorn leading it. A big 3 from Caleb Storen. Again, we see these Frankston unfruitful. And at the other end, also with room and space. Hawthorn in this second quarter. Jewel with his back to the basket. He is hotter. Speaking of going a long way, he went a long way away from the first quarter. Here's Artong for 3. Drills it! This first minute. Beauchamp hands it off. And continuing this scoring from the... And a glorious finish from Jacob. And then when the dribble pass came out, the only man... And eventually it falls down in the hands of Free for only a moment. The defensive effort by Bramall was pretty impressive. A nice pass from Atkin, turning to the basket, and how about that hooky? Available if it's wanted, but how about that beautiful mid-range jumper? Speaking of nice mid-range jumpers, little step-back maneuver. How about Meany for 3? Sure, why not? Max Meany. Here's Cheeseman. Oh, beautiful left-hand finish. Had such a solid run through finals. A 3-ball. Is good. One into the basket, and that's exactly where it lands. Artong, though, a dagger from Xavier Artong, and just on this one, underneath is good. Ever so slightly closer, playing for pride now, and how about the 3-ball from Max Meany? Gets his Magic will be champions. How about 2 in a row here? It took the backboard to do it. 2 threes in the dying stages of this one. Hawthorn Magic up on their feet. They applaud it out, and Cheeseman will dribble it out. Time will expire. Hawthorn Magic, a mostly unblemished season for this under-16 boys program.
Playtime mode is the big ring.
Go! Perfect release from the top of the key. 3 step back, pull up, switch cheese, slam. Got the crowd out they seats. 1 step closer to the big ring.
4 side seats, this the big bag. Hit a jumping red shot, get them big mad. Real hustle, knew one day we're gonna pay off. Playtime mode is the big ring. Go!